Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Russ. The biggest issue in front of the 2019 Montana legislature made its debut today.
State lawmakers got their first look at a bill to continue Medicaid expansion in Montana. This proposal boldly stating that health coverage for thousands of low-income Montana adults should remain largely unchanged.
Democratic State Representative Mary Cafaro of Helena sponsoring House Bill 425. It would essentially extend Medicaid expansion in its current form.
Now, that current program provides government-funded health coverage to about 95,000 low-income adults, but is set to expire in June. She says her bill's only significant changes to the program are more money for its workforce training program and obligating hospitals to pay about $15 million to help finance it.
Republican State Representative Ed Buttry of Great Falls is working on an alternative Medicaid bill that would likely include some restrictions on eligibility. When asked why majority Republicans at the legislature would accept her bill instead of Buttry's, Cafaro says the success of the program speaks for itself.
When I get elected, I don't get elected to do this, put my finger in the air and see what is politically and acceptable in the legislature. What I get elected to do is represent people. That's what we need to do, is talk about the wildly successful program, the status quo that we have today. And really, the question becomes, why wouldn't Republicans support what we have?
The federal government covers 90% of the program's cost, but the state must pick up the remainder.
Governor Steve Bullock's $160 million infrastructure bonding package cleared its first hurdle today.
That bill passed committee, but will likely face changes as it moves through the legislature. House Bill 14 would authorize the state to borrow $160 million to pay for various projects. Those include a $32 million remodel of Romney Hall on the MSU campus in Bozeman, another $32 million for a new State Historical Society building in Helena, and about $85 million for local water, wastewater, and other projects all across the state.
The only no vote came from Republican Senator Kerry Smith of Billings. Now, he says it's a mistake to place all of the local projects in one bill, along with the larger projects, which often face opposition.
We've lumped a lot of different types of projects in here that have sailed through in past sessions with no problem at all with certain types of projects, and lumped them with projects that we just don't seem to be able to get past, which puts a lot of good stuff at jeopardy.
At some point it becomes a discussion about what is the proper role of bonding in state government. And then the secondary question has to be, well, what is the proper level of bonding for state government? And it's a discussion that we have every session. I don't think it's a discussion that's going to end here today in this subcommittee.
Majority Republicans have indicated they may vote later to scale back the governor's proposal.
All right, let's turn to weather now. Bob, things got pretty chilly overnight, but we did get above zero today.
We
hooray,
did, and we're
hooray,
really excited. You know, the last time we were above zero was like on Saturday when it was 52 degrees above zero. That was pretty nice. But let me show you how things shaped up earlier today. This is our reported overnight lows, and look at Havre, 41 below zero. That was not the wind chill factor. That was the actual temperature last night. Here in Billings, we dipped to 14 below. It was 24 below over Miles City. Livingston was about 16 below, and even across the Highline of Glasgow, they were 30 below zero last night. Now tonight, we're seeing temperatures going to be cold, but not as cold. I think here in Billings it'll probably dip maybe about 14 degrees, and then elsewhere we'll be in the 20s below zero in the northeast. But then take a look at this. We are going to start warming back up, getting back up into maybe 21 for a high tomorrow, dip down into about the single digits on Saturday, and slowly work our way up to 20 degrees again by the time next Wednesday gets here. We'll have more on that coming your way in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob. In January of 1910, college students made the trek from downtown Billings to what is now Rocky Mountain College. Now, the power was out, so they ate a cold dinner by candlelight to celebrate the opening of their new campus. Well, tonight, more than a century later, Rocky Mountain College held its 110th candlelight dinner. The tradition to remember those who were there at what was once Billings Polytechnic Institute. And today, the dinner honors alumni and others who have contributed to Rocky over the decades.
It's part of the Rocky spirit, you know, to take something and make it great. So many of these historic buildings on Rocky's campus were built by the students, so they were actually paid to bring some of the sandstone down. And I think it's trying to capture that tradition and keep those memories alive. You can almost feel all of the people of the past who have made Rocky what it is today, their spirit alive and well in this building and around this campus.
While the candlelight dinner celebrates 110 years, Rocky's roots go back 141 years to 1878 at its beginnings in Deer Lodge and Helena.
A longtime downtown staple in the restaurant scene will open its doors later this year. However, a massive remodel is underway to completely change what you know about the Rex. Crews are hard at work right now on the Buffalo Block Steakhouse. Tonight, Q2's Andrea Lutz brings us a first look inside.
It's an iconic image in Billings, but it's not as if the Rex Hotel hasn't seen changes. However, this time,
it'll be top of the line.
Little will stay the same.
We'll have windows that open over here, keeping the trees. We'll have some green area down here and green area here.
Take a look at the inside now, a blank slate with an extraordinary vision. Rick Larson never really intended on buying the restaurant. He just appreciates a good steak.
It was always my go-to place for steaks. So when they closed down, it was kind of sad.
But he's an entrepreneur at heart, starting a Billings-based insurance company in 1980.
I waited and I waited, and I've been retired for a little bit.
When the Rex closed in February of 2017, something sparked inside of him.
When I told my wife I bought the Rex, she wasn't really happy with me. So she says, we're retired. I says, honey, don't worry, we can go travel, whatever you want to do, we'll do.
Now, months into a full renovation, he's already visualizing the space.
This is a fine dining area. We'll have some booths over there, tables out here.
Planning the menu.
But we're going to do an open wood burning cooking area, so it'll be different than anything else.
Making his mark on Billings again.
Well, there's a sense of satisfaction when you can do something different and build on something that's already great.
While keeping the historic Rex alive.
The new bar will be here, and it'll be a walnut bar built in the old style. So it'll look really nice. This will be the center of the bar. Gene and his partners did a wonderful job here, and they brought something unique to Billings. And we hope to build on that. We hope it'll be something that's accepted and people will appreciate.
As for the name, that's historic too. Buffalo Block Street pavers were used back in the day to line Montana Avenue. It's a past-time treasure that Larson wants to carry through to the future.
When Larson envisions the opening of the Buffalo Block next fall, he sees an enticing patio, white tablecloths, and great service. But for now, that steak will just have to wait.
I'll always have a table here. I won't have to worry about that. But it's fun. It's a fun project. So, and my wife is talking to me now, so it's worked out well.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
And Andrea tells us the Buffalo Block Steakhouse at the Rex will likely open in early August, and Larson says he plans to hire a staff of roughly 50.
Well, a Kalispell cat has gone viral after it was found injured and virtually lifeless, encrusted in snow and ice, but then made a full recovery.
And tonight, the vet who treated that cat says he's never seen an animal in such despair. Take a look at the pictures here from the vet of Fluffy the cat. She was injured and stuck in the deep freeze with snowballs stuck on her fur. She was bruised all over her body. Her temperature was low and her vital signs were weak.
Now, the vet says he's never seen anything like this. The cat went from near death to a miraculous recovery in just 45 minutes.
I was really surprised. You know, I've been practicing a long time, and I've seen a lot of hypothermic animals, but normally it's like an accidental kind of a thing where the kids leave the door open, and the cat gets out or the dog gets out, and nobody knows about it for a couple hours, and they might get a little cold. Versus this was a little bit kind of a different situation, having it actually packed around.
We aren't quite sure how Fluffy got injured, but it's so good to hear that she's doing well.
It is. Now, since this picture was posted on social media, it's been shared thousands of times and picked up nationally.
Amazing. Well, coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, this chef is getting to the heart of the matter in both his teaching and his health. We'll explain.
And tonight in sports, wrestling's biggest weekend of the year just hours away. But first, a little fun with some of these tough guys.
You're watching MTN News with Jeanelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.